Hello, everyone. My name is Jared Greer, executive coach. I work with executives, business owners, and entrepreneurs to really help them live at peak performance in all areas of life and not just one or two. I am on today with my guest, Scott Sorensen, who I'm thrilled about because Scott is the founder of Compete Agency, and I'll have him share a little bit about that. But he's also a serial entrepreneur. This guy has done amazing things in his career. He's got it together, and he's going to give us some advice and guidance on how we can be better marketers in our businesses, what works, what doesn't work. And we're just thrilled that he's taking the time to come with us today. Scott, welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Jared. Yeah, dude, that's quite the intro. I feel like super accomplished and like really, really special. So job.
I said every word that you sent over. So
yeah, you read it. Perfect. Yeah.
I can read,
I shouldn't be surprised. Thanks for reading the script.
Well, give us a little bit of background because maybe I'll give everybody some background. If you're in business for yourself right now, especially with the boom of technology, marketing is one of those things that people probably pull their hair out more than anything else. I think the bald people in the world probably have tried to market one of their products or a few of their products on their own.
And now they're more
give
bald.
Us some background of, and now they're more bald. They don't have as much hair.
Yeah.
Give us some background on kind of who you are, how you got into what you're doing now, and then we'll kind of take it from there.
Sure. So I guess the quick of it is I fell into marketing. I actually have a sales background. I ran a call center in my previous life and wrote scripts. And I mean, we had 200 seats. It was incredible. But through that process, I learned, how to talk and help people get to, key points and help people get past objectives and just kind of what was frustrating them, when to bring those things up, when not to. And then from there, I worked for a startup. It was honestly like a hobby. And literally, as I'm getting hired as an intern, it was like in April, and during my lunch, which was who was going to take me on, they were like, "Yeah, I don't even know if we'll be around in December." And so I was like, "Well, I need something to do for the summer." And so I don't, after December, I really don't care. That turned into like a 5-year incredible career. The company went from, the $10,000 in revenue to over 100 million in like 3 years. In 2013, wow. It was it was like 9th fastest growing company in the country, I think, on the Inc. 500. Company's called Goal Zero. It was out of Utah. That's where I went to school. That's how I met them. It was a portable solar company. So you'll find them in REI and Cabela's and outdoor. Anyways, it just went awesome. And that company was purchased, and it created an opportunity for me and some friends to start our own thing. So we did the big jump, quit our jobs, and after learning just an incredible amount, we started our own marketing agency. And the idea was to help entrepreneurs and things like that start kind of, hopefully do what we just did with that company. And I've been running my own.
What led you to the marketing? Sorry, I want to jump in. What led you to the marketing side of it? Because that's, you had already kind of proven yourself in one world, and then why marketing?
Yeah. So I like, it's like a Buzz Lightyear quote, but I feel like marketing is sales with style. It's kind of like falling with style with flying, but I love that I have an opportunity to like pre-craft a message. I feel like sales, face-to-face experience is, you just have to kind of be good on your feet, and you have to know your facts. You have to have a bunch of stuff memorized. But marketing, you can take, this image is going to go really well with this phrase. And then once they see that, if we show them this, and I just became obsessed with that. And then you get analytics with it. I loved the data. I loved that I could send out 10 ads, trying to sell something, and then I could watch which one did best. And then me and the team could try and figure out why this one did better and how we can make more like that. I just loved how it was more of a complete story, and it was repeatable, and if you do use data to make decisions, there isn't too much of a debate. It's just like, is this ad better than this ad? Done. And in sales, I mean, you either close the deal or you don't. you don't really get, is your tactic good? It might have just been timing with that client. It may not have anything to do with you. It was just you happened to have the product that they needed at that time, and that's your only feedback. So I was over the sales team there at the beginning, but then I just started migrating into the web team, and I just fell in love with it. So I was the director.
What time frame are we talking about when you started to migrate into the website? Because you've been at this for a while now, and so what?
Yeah,
what
so that
was that?
So that was like, 2013 until a few years ago. So the Goal Zero thing was 4 or 5 years, and I was over the website for the last 3 or 4, among other things. But I was the director of marketing there for that. It was just, I had like a $4 million budget. We were buying like
Wow.
ads in like Sky Mall magazine, and we were on QVC. I was in Florida at the QVC headquarters. I just got this incredible, like,
wow,
just education, hardcore and marketing. And I just took full advantage of it. I didn't even know it was like unique. I remember having conversations with people. I'm like, how do you decide what networks to put your TV commercial on? And people would be like, my marketing budget is like $10,000 for the whole year. I'm like, oh, okay. So this isn't normal. It isn't normal to like, this intern now 4 or 5 years out of college, and I've got this multi-million-dollar budget. So I learned pretty quickly that it was a unique experience, and then that's pre-marketing, digital marketing boom, would you say, or was it ramping up? Because I kind of feel like marketing these days, you go to a conference and you've got all the financial planners, and then you've got all the business coaches, and now you've got all like the digital marketers. And it's true. It's like everyone now has a SEO guy. It's like,
yeah, right.
It's like, oh, I do, and now it's like general. It's not just like, oh, I do PPC, pay per click. It's like, oh, I do search engine optimization, or it's just like, I do online marketing. It's like, well, which version? Like what kind, like what's your specialty?
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
You say you're good at everything on social. On digital, that's a lot, But yeah, I would say it was right in the middle of that. We had an e-commerce shop. Like I was number one goal was sell as much product as I could online. So we definitely were hard into social media. Honestly, it was more, we were the young guys trying to convince the old guys that we need to tell stories on social. And they're like, what is that? Like grandma shares with me stories on social. And we're like, no, this is different. Like we need to do something awesome, or we need to get ambassadors, because before it was like, here's Leonardo DiCaprio wearing your watch in a magazine. Like that's what ambassadors were. And now it was like, you had monsters. And this is actually like the case study we kept using over and over again was GoPro. This was like the heart of GoPro, this content marketing company. They built their entire company on video of the day, their entire marketing was sign up for our free giveaway every day. Like that's how they built that place, was we give away everything we make every day. And people just handed over their information like crazy to GoPro, right? And GoPro, I always got mad because I'm like, GoPro cheats. Like their product literally creates content. Like it's, it's like, how can we be the GoPro? It's like, we're not a camera, we're not a microphone. We're not like, we have to use cameras to tell our story. So, but GoPro was always funny, right? Because they always had like one GoPro shooting the cool shot, and then they had another GoPro shooting the GoPro, So it's like,
there you go. This is how we got that.
Yeah. So I just fell into
you get into marketing. You guys start your own agency. Go ahead.
Yep, ran my own agency. And first thing you learn when you start your own agency is if you don't have any past clients, no one trusts you. So we invented a product. We actually, I think I have, yeah. So I invented with a buddy of mine this wallet company, and we wanted to show we know how to do packaging, we knew how to do product development, and so we designed all of this branding, logo, website from soup to nuts, 100%.
Wow.
And we did a Kickstarter, that went really well. We did a really cool, hilarious Kickstarter video. And right after that, like, we just started getting clients. It was like, I want you to do that for me. I want you to do that for me. And so that was the best thing we did for my agency, was like invent our own brand. We didn't have one. So yeah.
And you just recently sold that company, right?
Yeah.
The wallet company?
2 months ago. Yes. We had it for 4 years. And unfortunately, it was like everything else kept us. It wasn't even on, it was like on the stove, but it wasn't even like on a back burner. It was just like in the corner, and we just didn't give it any love. And so we finally just said, okay, let's give our baby to someone that's going to take care of it. So yeah, I met someone here in North Carolina that fell in love with it, and he's crushing it. He's in a whole bunch of shops around here, and they're doing great. So.
Dude, awesome. Tell us about how Compete Agency began, because that's been around a shorter amount of time, but
yeah,
give everybody the scope of it and kind of what you guys do.
Sure. So the marketing, I'm sure you can relate to this. Like it's a hustle, right? Like I have my job, I have my like help people market their products well. That's what my company does. Well, don't do this, help you guide you.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually, hopefully they outgrow us, right? Hopefully they have to like hire someone, a giant agency in New York, and they're, outside of our wheelhouse. And so, that happens. You cycle through customers, they have their growth, and then they hire in-house or whatever happens. And so it's this constant hustle of taking care of what's mine and then finding new business. And so you learn really quickly. And this is like, if you are ever talking to entrepreneurs that are thinking about getting in the game, like, they need to understand that sales is king. Like, if you can't sell your idea, your product, then like no one else is going to care about it as much as you. And so you learn very quickly as you become an entrepreneur, I'm sure, as you can relate, that like, oh, I need to know how to have reach, have people react to my message and come back and buy what I'm selling. One of my favorite presentations I've ever been to, the guy went off about the movie If You Build It, They Will Come, Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
Do you remember this? I think I told you about this.
Yes.
And he was going off about why did that work? Why did those people come? And people are like, oh, because he showed, this is like an SEO conference, he planted seeds throughout the movie, and he's like, no, everyone's wrong. And it was like, gosh, why? And he's like, because it's a movie. Like, the only reason the people showed up at the end is because it was written in the script. And so he was, it's a hard lesson learned when the client has spent their life savings on this beautiful website or all this product development. And then they're like, okay, now people buy it. And it's like, no one's listening. No one's going to accidentally type in your URL. Like, it does not happen.
Yeah.
And so very quickly you learn that, marketing is king, and people, and it isn't the best product doesn't always win. Sometimes it's the product with the best story or the product with the most reach.
Well, that's where, so let me just go in on that for a second, because I think, that's marketing itself is sometimes positioned as, hey, you need this new fancy shiny website because that's right. What's going to get you more sales, right? And at the end of the day, there's just so much more that goes into it, where, to your point, you've got to be out there selling it. You've got to be talking about it. You've got to know your own features and benefits. But how often do you see that that's one of the first things that get offloaded? Somebody's like, you know what, I'm going to hire this guy to go sell it. Yep.
Yeah, I compare it to I don't know why. Maybe I learned this in some book or heard it once before, but it seems to be the go-to example. But it's like the rat trap. Like, the website is the trap that captures the rats, but you have to have rats. And so you can have the best trap in the world, the best website in the world, But if no one's going to it, it's not going to catch anything.
Doesn't matter.
Vice versa, you can have all the traffic in the world, but if your trap sucks, no one's going to stick. And so it is a relationship. And unfortunately, I think what you're alluding to is what happens a lot is people think, especially founders. I don't know why founders, I'm going through this with a few clients right now, where they just like, oh, what if the website did this? And let's add this feature and let's do this and that. And I'm like, let's move some products first. Like, let's figure out where your holes are before you add a feature. Let's figure out which ones are broken. You know, it's like, what's your cart fallout rate? Oh, I have no idea.
Yep.
Why are you adding a new page if you haven't even fixed the foundation of your site? You know, so I think founders and executives love pretty things, but you know, it's actually hilarious. Like, think about the sites you use. They're not pretty at all. Amazon, #1 e-commerce website in history. It is the ugliest website ever. That thing's gross, right? Like, it's not pretty. Like those buttons,
not fancy, right?
It's not fancy. It's not an Apple website, right? And to that point, like, you know, you buy Apple at an Apple store typically, but like, you know, Apple's an experience as a brand is different. But in terms of just like, you know, like Craigslist, a lot of people use Craigslist. It's disgusting. But people have been using it for forever. It's been a top 20 site for forever. So sometimes it's not about pretty, it's about function, and it's about meeting the need. You know, that needs to come first, and then you can make it look pretty.
Well, I love that we're going to get into a presentation that you've been sharing publicly recently. We'll get into that in a little bit, but I think that's going to show and hopefully give some people, how do you navigate between I want all the bells and whistles, I want my product to look and feel and be perfect in every way, versus, okay, here's the things that actually work, that will get you noticed, that will actually attract, to use your words, rats. Attract the rats, right?
I know, it's a terrible metaphor. It's like you want the trap to like cut the rat's head off, and that's a win. No. But I guess
we're killing rats here.
We're killing rats. You need rats, and you need a good trap to kill rats. But to finish that story, like the hustle of owning a marketing agency, always trying to find new people, and Jared, you probably can relate to this very well. It's hard to like convince people that I'm worth it, right? Like, I'm really good. Like please give me your money, and I will help you make more money. You know, it's a hustle, it's a pitch, and so I remember, you know, probably 8 months ago now or so, I remember just being so frustrated because I was talking to a potential client, and I could just see the roadmap to their success. And I'm just like, oh, I know how to like blow this up for them. And they just wouldn't commit. And I'm just like, I wish I could prove to them, you know, I've got all sorts of testimonials and examples, and look, we did this for this site. But, you know, the truth is like every site is different. Every product is different. I can show you examples and give you testimonials all day, but, you know, they are unique. And I just couldn't, you know, but when it hit me one day when I was like, I track this stuff all day. Like I literally look at data all day on how things are doing. I was like, I can prove to them that I'm good. If they gave me like a really small budget and gave me a really small window, I could show them, bam, look, we made a difference. And then it hit me, I could put marketing agency versus marketing agency and have them compete and have them literally prove which one of these two is better. And that's in my kitchen out of nowhere is how Compete Agency was born.
No way.
Yeah, I was realizing I can host marketing competitions, and you hire the winner, period. You know, it's not who has a prettier presentation. That always bothered me, that like marketing pitches these days turned into who can make the prettiest PowerPoint. You know, it's like,
yeah, right.
It's in like awards these days, you can just go buy awards. You know, you just go apply to some marketing award and they say, congratulations, you won the award. Now you owe us a few $1,000s. You know, it's hard to get real testimonials, but if you can get someone to literally market your product and prove they can spend $200 and turn it into $400, I mean, that's That's pretty powerful.
Why and I mean, this is honestly, this is why you're on this. Why I think that's such a disruptive model is because it shifts the focus to results.
Yes.
To results.
Data.
I'm no longer just a digital marketer because I took a course at my community college and now I'm going to do digital marketing, or I'm seeing all these people that are, selling digital marketing like crazy. Yeah. Now you're saying, okay, you're good at it. Great. Show us. Show us in tangible data that, and prove it compared to others.
Yes. And context.
Yeah. And I love it because you're saying, here's the budget. Everybody, you're going to be doing it side by side versus, hey, you give me $20,000 and we'll see if it works. I promise it'll work. But if I fail, then you've got to go spend $20,000 somewhere else to be able to try them.
Yeah,
so
totally.
Tell us what kind of results you're working with. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, just saying, the other thing that's funny is like a typical, marketing agency will, have a client for a couple of years, and then some other agency convinces them that we'll do so much better than those guys. And then they do incrementally, but they're also kind of riding the other team's coattails, like they got them to where they are. And so you're never comparing apples to apples, and so, Compete Agency, it just started with me calling up a bunch of my marketing friends, other people that owned agencies, a couple of past clients, and just like, would you do this? Like, would you compete? Would you like not do a pitch and just show up and start marketing for someone? And I was blown away by like the marketing agencies. There's a lot of really great marketing agencies and there's a lot of crappy ones, but the good ones honestly think they're the best in the world. And so when I say all you have to do is market for a customer for 14 days, 30 days, and beat out 2 other agencies, and the customer's yours, no questions asked. It's almost unanimous. Every single agency is like, we will compete. We want to try. It's been fun.
Tell us who you're working with. Tell us what you've seen as a result of that. Because I know there's been a couple in-house marketers who have lost their jobs.
Yeah. Well, I can't share all of my.
Don't give me specifics of who.
Yeah. But no, there's been some. It's been cool too that like, we don't really have a niche, because every competition's unique. We've done, and I've talked to Shane. He's the owner of Cue Ball. He's a fun one. He's totally down for me to share everything, so we can get into some of his stuff. But there was an example of an in-house marketer got thrown into the competition. I'll never do this again, but it was for an app, and they made their marketing intern compete against these other agencies to keep his job. And it was like, if you beat these other agencies, we'll keep you around because we want to see how good you actually are. Anyways, it was so toxic. It was during our beta.
Yeah.
He ended up doing great actually. And that kind of worked out. He stuck on, another agency won, but he did. And that's what's fun too, is there's a winner. Good enough. But he brought to the table some ads that no one had considered before. And so they were like, okay, cool. Why don't you be the account manager with this marketing agency? And so it was a win-win because, the agency won, they got the client, and then the guy didn't get fired. He took his data and their data and they put it together, and now they're crushing it. So it's been really interesting.
I love it. I was just gonna say, I've been in more than one online battles with marketers where I'm like, no, if you're that good, go to Compete Agency, prove it, show it. Like,
no, we've got some good leads.
I don't think everybody loves that.
No, not everyone does. And what's funny is like pitching a client is actually a lot of work. Like building those pitch decks. I talked to one really big agency out of Salt Lake, and they were saying they'll spend $10,000 in man hours just for a pitch. And then a lot of times those guys are flying out, they're staying in hotels, and they're meeting with the client, all for the client to say, oh no, we're going to go with this other agency because my cousin told me they're actually better than you. Like that you can lose the pitch for any reason, and that's it. This is, the contest is anonymous, and if you are objectively better than the other competitors, you win. No questions asked. And then we introduce you, hey, so their real name is this. And it's so cool to introduce a client to like their hero. And this is month one, right? Like instead of normally when you hire an agency, it's like, okay, here's some money now. Like, show me what, I don't trust you. Show me some magic. And as an agency, you're constantly trying to say, okay, it's going to take some time. Like the first post is going to crush it. We need to learn. But when an agency has just beat out 2 other agencies and the customer gets to meet them, it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. I love starting the relationship that way. And then we just have, and it's probably what you want to get into. We just have like a ton of really cool data after the competition and the client gets to see all of it, right? Like agency 1, agency 2, agency 3, what did they all do that was really well that we can now use in our upcoming campaigns? That to me, I just love data. So that's fun.
I love that. I just feel like you're ripping the lid off marketing. You're making it visible. You're making it, focused on the results. And then you provide the value that, people who don't win, they may get some insight as to what they could be doing better. People who do win, they then get access to what the others are not doing well. So, or what they did well. So I love the model. I know I'm just keeping track of time, and I know you've got a presentation. I would love to go through that and show us some of the things that Compete Agency and your agency are finding, and how can we make our marketing of our businesses better.
Sure. Yeah. Let's bring that up and we can go through it. These are some from remembering, just really simple examples, some of the most recent examples. These are the top level results. And so you can go in and get more nitpicky, but I thought these were just really powerful because like certain things, oh, this is better than this, but sometimes you don't realize how much better it is. So you can keep driving, Jared. That's fine. Or did you give me control?
Yep. So I've got you control. So you should be able to
fancy
take it away.
So yes. So this was a presentation I did that focused on like A/B tests, right? Like at the end of here, there's a magazine I was using that showed some really cool stats. We share that, but at the beginning it was showing some of the Compete Agency stuff that we've learned. And so yeah, let's just dive into it.
Yeah, take us through some of that, and we'll pepper you with questions.
Sweet. So here's a great example. So here's Shane's company I was telling you about, Cue Ball. So Cue Ball, they were on Shark Tank. They got a deal with Mark Cuban. Really, really cool. And he was like, dude, this is about to go live. I need a good agency. And I was like, well, let's do a competition, see who can do it the best. And so they've benefited tremendously from this. They, I think they earned back their competition cost in like 2 days of sale. Like the entire cost over 14 days, they made it back in 2 days. I mean, it was really powerful. And here's a cool example of showing one agency really, really focused on image ads, image with a story, kind of your normal go-to marketing 101 stuff on Facebook. And then another agency focused on video ads, and they took the client's existing content and cut it up into these little snippets, these little mini ads. And so the question is,
tell me, sorry, before we get into that and the results, because let's maybe take it down a scale. I know you're working with, in many cases, large companies. You've worked with some smaller companies, but let's just take your average small business, maybe doing $1 million in revenue, maybe even less. Why do you think people are drawn, or why do you think people choose to do images versus videos? And kind of what's the argument for both sides?
I think it all actually goes all the way back to like, the Google ads. Like it really was banner ads. Like that was the start of, an ad with a visual. It always was, just a straight up image, and what can you do in that little space? And so I think, and most of the time when you're doing a Facebook feed, that's what you're used to seeing, is just a quick image with a little story, right? This is what grandma says. This is what brother says. And so it's like, oh, this is what Cue Ball says. But you know, and honestly, it's a lot easier to go snap a picture of your product than it is to do production and take a video of your product, right? Like I think ease, and just messaging, right? Like you can, with images, you can just say, you know, does this word work better than these words in the same image? And so it's a little bit more complex when you deal with video, but you need to try it. You know, there's carousels, there's product feature pages, there's messaging. You can do message ads now, right? Where like you'll literally get a message and it'll ping you and say, hey, so-and-so, did you know I'm doing this? And it's like, it's actually an ad, it's a bot. So there's a huge amount of different stuff you can do. But as we looked over this contest and specifically, we saw that, you know what, these guys didn't even do any video. They didn't take advantage of that at all. How did they do on the whole versus this agency that really focused on video ads? How did they do on the whole? And like,
awesome.
You know, so all of these things are multipliers. So
yeah, I want people who are watching either live or during the replay, just look and say, okay, what is your vote? Image versus video, and type it in the comments. What do you think is more effective? And then Scott, you can reveal what the reality is.
The big reveal. The winner's video by far. So in the same, the context of these numbers is they had the exact same spend. So they literally each spent, let's say, $1,000. So $1,000 on image ads and $1,000 on video ads. And these were the differences. And they tweaked as they went and they tried to do better. But if you just look at it holistically, over 162% increase in just reach. So not only did they see more people, but then over 1,000% in clicks. And so not only did they see more people, but they also, more people more often clicked. And so they had just an astronomical amount of traffic compared to the image ads. And so it was like the guys that focus on video ad destroyed everyone else. They really just, it was no contest. No one could catch them by the end of the competition. It was very obvious these guys won. So, and they won because of video.
So this slide right here, I saw you presenting this at, you know, one of the networking groups that we go to where we met. And this slide is the one where I was like, I got to bring that on my show. I've got to give that to my people because
we did it.
I mean, the message here is do video, right? I mean, that's what you take away here.
So a lot of things are happening behind the scenes. So Facebook is in competition right now with YouTube. Facebook is subsidizing your video ads because they want to take video they want to take video eyeballs, traffic reach from YouTube. So they want you to come to Facebook to entertain yourself with funny videos and cat videos and whatever else you watch on YouTube. Facebook's trying to steal that traffic away. And so what they're doing right now, you need to take advantage of this, is they're subsidizing, they're making it $1 on a video goes way further on Facebook than it does on YouTube. And so, it's very powerful. And the other thing, Jared, you're crushing it, is, you know, if I, and I had this conversation just last week, someone was asking me, you know, what do I need to be doing? Where do I need to spend the money? And Facebook Live is honestly key to success right now, because especially for smaller businesses, maybe not like really big ones, but if you're starting off, and one of the reasons is because when you go live, Facebook does a push notification to your friends, right? You can't pay for that. So Facebook literally won't even let you pay for a push notification to a person that says, hey, come check out Cue Ball. Only if you go live will it do that for you automatically. And what's great about live, it's free. So it literally is free exposure. I mean, even if you post on your Facebook page and you don't boost it, I think it's like it used to be 10%, but now I think it's like 2 or 3% of your users will even see your own post.
Wow.
So Facebook Live is essential to any marketing. And again, it's because YouTube Live, Facebook Live, and that's say what you will about capitalism and contests, but it brings the price down.
Competition.
Competition.
For sure.
It's a beautiful thing. And so Facebook Live is pushing really hard to make people go live more often because there's huge benefits that come with it. So video is
love that. One marketing thing I'm doing good. I'm gonna keep tally as we go through this.
You're doing it right now. That's awesome. So next one. Here we go. Okay, so this is a really cool test. So this is they wanted to see like what types of images work best. So you can see each of these is a different campaign. Each of these actually had their own landing page that also told a similar story. So we start from the control ad. I don't know if that's right or left. But the control ad, we tried to say, and by the way, if you're a fly fisher, go check out Bug Club. Here's a little plug for a client of mine. Really cool stuff. But basically it was without any frills, without any marketing lingo, what do we sell? What is the simplest way to just, what is it? And that's what that ad is. The next one over is kind of, and I think a lot of founders and stuff kind of lean naturally towards this, and that's like the inspiration. It's like, how does my product make you feel? And then the other one over was like gifting. So the idea is that, you know what, I think a lot of people will be buying this product actually for someone else. And so let's make that the story. And so after you clicked on this ad, you went to a landing page that had that same image and the same story. And there you go. Oh, so you clicked. Okay. So this first one, and this is good. We get into numbers so you guys can kind of see how expensive your industries are. And so CPC is cost per click. So every time someone clicks anywhere, can they see my mouse, Jared? Can you see my mouse?
I
don't know.
I can't see your mouse.
I can see your mouse. So any like, comment, share, anytime you click on the image, any of these ads, you click anywhere, that's what the all is. So you're fine, dude. So all clicks is 26 cents for that ad, and cost per mil, CPM. This is if you wanted to just pure get exposure. Cost per mil is 1,000, so it's cost per 1,000 eyeballs. And so like someone like a Ford would use this because you don't have to educate people on what a Ford truck is. You just need to remind people that Ford trucks are still around, you know? So when they're in the market for a truck, oh yeah, Ford, look how badass that picture is, you know? So that's CPM. So just saying it costs you about $10, $9.30 for 1,000 views. Click-through rate, this is very important. So if you show this to 100 people, 3.54, even though we don't count half humans, but 3.54 would click on this ad. So that shows how relevant your ad is, how much, you know, and all of these are going to fly fishers, people who have shown interest on Facebook to fly fishing. So it's a very generic, just not fly fishers who are into tying their own flies. This is just the category as a whole. Relevancy score. So relevance score is something Facebook makes up. They don't tell us how they do it, but essentially it's a scale from 1 to 10. And I think it's mostly click-through rate. It mostly just, because Facebook, like Google, they want to show their users things that their users like, right? If it's a crappy ad that no one's clicking on and it's very annoying, they'll stop showing it. And so this got a relevancy score of 6 out of 10. I typically will not do ads if they're lower than a 5. So 6 is borderline. Ideally, you want it at close to an 8. That means that ad is real nice for that audience you're going after. So here's the inspiration. So you can see it's a little bit more expensive. So 45 cents a click. The cost per mil, see, this is interesting. The cost per mil is about the same. So your reach, your ability to get in front of eyeballs, it costs about the same for both of these messages, which makes sense because, you know, it's just Bug Club trying to get in front of someone. And then their click-through rate is much lower. And you can see that's reflected in the relevance score. So for the same $100, right, the one on the left, you're literally going to get more traffic than you would for the one on the right or the one in the middle, the inspiration ad, because it costs more every time someone clicks. That makes sense?
Yeah, totally. And I mean, I think that's interesting to see because, and especially in my space, there's just a overkill, if you will, of the inspirational type of posts and ads and imagery, right? And then you're showing here that like we've got a box on a porch that
I know
people are clicking through at a higher rate than the serenity of being the one guy out on the on the lake fly fishing.
Totally, because as a marketer, like I always believe in like sell the benefit, like sell the dream, sell the value. It's like, but sometimes like people just want to know what the heck this thing is. You know, it's like I can't even get inspired because I don't even know how I'm getting there. Like, are you selling? Like, are you a tour guide? Are you going to take me to that river?
Yeah.
You know, it's like start somewhere. Some tangible stuff. Okay. Oh, you know what's funny is, there we go. So there's the last one. So most expensive CPM is actually the cheapest. So that's really interesting that it costs, if you just wanted to get in front of a lot of people and get a lot of exposure, this is the cheapest one. But look at that click-through rate, 1.9. And it actually has a decent relevance score. That's interesting.
The message here for businesses is what? We're looking at 3 different types of ads. One clearly would most founders would probably say, well, that's not inspiring. That's boring. It doesn't highlight my product. It doesn't speak to our brand. So what is the message for businesses as we look at these 3 options and the results of, the box on the porch?
Well, the first message,
other than Amazon has totally brainwashed us.
Yeah, we're all brainwashed anyways. But I think the main message, if I had anything to say, was that you need to test. Like if you're not doing A/B tests right now, if you're running ads, you better be running 2 identical ads with one thing that's different, because you want to learn, is this a good picture? And, let's say you just ran the inspiration ad. Is that good? Is it cost per click 45 cents good? Yes. I just ran some ads for a compete agency yesterday, and they were $2 clicks. But compared to what, right? And so when you run the inspiration ad next to this control ad, you see, these are 15 cents. I don't know the math, but these are a little bit more expensive. This actually isn't. It's good, but it's not. It can be better. And so you always run 2 ads, at least at a minimum. Give them the same audience, give them the same amount of money, and see where they land. Because otherwise, you're not learning anything. You just, that was good, but like, how good? Like you need something to compare it to. So that'd be my first thing, is like always be testing. The second thing is sometimes realize that you are not your customer. And so a lot of times we'll have our designers design ads that we like, but like, I'm actually not in the market for this product, or I think I am, but I'm really not my ideal customer, right? And so you kind of have to, the only way to learn that is to stick it out there and test it. And the data wins, right? You can say all day that you like the picture of the 2 guys staring at you, but the data just says that the Facebook users don't.
Yeah. And I think another thing that business owners and entrepreneurs specifically should be thoughtful about here is, it's hard to put something out there and have it get no likes, have it get no views, have it just, and so this gives you the opportunity to validate that, hey, your idea, your vision, your passion, it's not a waste. It's not all, it's not all for naught. It really does matter how you package it, how you send it out. So, if you're not doing those tests, trying different things to really validate what does work, then you might just be giving up. You might just be feeling like a failure for no reason. Just get out there and try and see what works.
I think that's great, Jared. And the other thing too is like you really need to go after it. Like, expect to fail. Expect your first ads to suck. Like they should be the worst ads you ever do. And then you learn and tweak and change, and then you have good ads. Like the first few months of ad spend, it honestly is an education spend. Like think of it like tuition. Like you need to get out there and see what people like or don't like, what people react to. And what's cool too is like we've taken this data and we've made changes to their website. So now that we know that that box picture does so well, there's less and less, you know, the inspiration pictures are still there. They're just lower on the page, or they're deeper inside the website. Because if someone's been on your website for 3 minutes and they've clicked on 10 pages, they're probably inclined to see that inspiration stuff. They want to go deeper. They want to see cooler stuff. They want to learn more information. And we're just learned that, you know, the simpler message in this case is winner for most of the customers.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. You ready for another one? So this is actually so cool. You guys get to see this because we took the learnings from that last test and then we did it again. So now that we've learned that that box picture wins, now we want to control what's more powerful. So if you're looking just at those last two, what's more powerful, a Father's Day special or the control? Or again, just straight up, this is what you get. You get 34 handpicked, da-da-da-da-da-da. So what message is stronger? That's that test. And then over here, the ad content. So again, let's challenge this thing. Let's beat this ad. And here's a picture of a bunch of stuff that comes in your box, right? So, and this has a Father's Day message.
The actual product, right? That's the actual product.
Yeah, if you were to open the box, you'd see stuff like that inside of it. Mm-hmm. Right, which seems like something you'd want to know. So this is cool too, because we got some Google Analytics with it. So the top section there is how this adds traffic. We made unique codes that track that ad specifically and how that traffic is treated by the website compared to just your general traffic. So bounce rate 74%. That's actually not that bad. I just say if you keep your bounce rate below 80%, and your bounces, you know, for every 100 people that show up, unfortunately, 74 of them just disappear. They accidentally clicked on your ad. They just got a phone call. They didn't do anything on your face, on your face, on your page.
Don't do it on my face.
Yeah.
So this is through Facebook still. This is not their website bounce rates. This is the ad bounce rate.
So no, this is, they clicked on the ad and that Google Analytics is their website data.
Oh, gotcha.
So we're combining the two. Okay. So the bottom, so you can see Google Analytics and then Facebook data. So the Facebook data is the performance of the ad, and the Google Analytics is the performance of that traffic that ad produced. So they've left Facebook and they've gone to your website. So again, if you just ran one ad, this is what you'd see. And you would only be able to compare that to like your cost. Okay, did we make $1? Right? That's like it. So unless you're running another ad, you don't get to compare it. So right away we find out, oh, look, this second control ad bounced less. So already this ad on the right, the people by about 10% are more stay longer on average. And they stay a little bit longer. So 1.5 seconds they see more pages and they stay significantly longer. So they stay on average 46 seconds. Then you go down into the cost. This one's less expensive. It's got a better relevancy score. Its click-through rate is higher. It's significantly higher, all click-through rate. So we didn't beat it, right? And so now we see, does this one beat the basic straight up? No. So you can see all the bold is the highest in its category. So it won in every category except for bounce rate. And it's actually pretty close, 68 compared to 67. So they saw more pages, they stayed longer, it cost the least, better score, they clicked more. I mean, won in everything. So we continue to just try and beat this ad. I mean, I call it the king ad. You know, hopefully you can get to a place where you have a king ad and you just can't beat it. And then what's fun, sorry, I'm like getting into like the next level, but the next level is, and then you have that king ad, and now you start testing that king ad against different subgroups. So where is it? Does that ad work really well with 45 to 50-year-olds compared to 35 to 25-year-olds, right? Is that a good ad for millennials? Probably. They love Amazon. They love packages, right? So should you just be showing that ad to a younger audience versus maybe that ad on the far left actually does really well with an older audience? So there's all sorts of things you can test. So fun.
So let me, because I think I want to go this direction. Are you suggesting that people start with, let's just make the ad, don't narrow the target very much in the beginning, find the ad that works, and then start messing? Because I mean, I know Facebook, you can spend all day in there, getting different demographics and craziness, and
So I would say, and this has been the case with most of our competitions, I would say that the vast majority of companies out there think they know their audience, but actually have no clue. They think they're, everyone in the world right now wants to say, "Oh, I'm for millennials." Like, are you? You don't know. So I would cast, when you're in this testing, when you first start testing, I would cast as wide as a net as possible. Obviously, you want to be niche, right? This is a fly fishing box. We are advertising to fly fishers, but we didn't really tweak too hard all the micro stuff down below that. And so I would cast it wide, and then once you have a winner, then you can start tweaking your sub interest groups and start challenging your assumptions, because you think you want to advertise to millennials, but that again, like my whole premise now is like, test it, prove it, like show me the data that says your product is
what evidence do you have?
Yeah, because then there's no discussion. Then it's not made up. It's not someone's opinion, right?
Yeah, because mentally I'm thinking, okay, here's somebody just starting out. They're all passionate, all excited. They make a bad ad, right? So they make a poor ad, and then they try to just narrow it down. Sure, but they just try to narrow it down, and they put it out there, and it gets zero results.
Yeah.
And mentally, what that does to somebody to feel, belief in their business, belief that they can make it happen. So I like the progression of start with just an ad, obviously making sure that you're still hitting your niche, but then once you find an ad that's working, then start to look at, okay, now I'm going to really narrow in the demographics and do A/B testing in that group. So
that's great.
I love it.
What's a good,
and all my profile pictures and all my images are now going to be, brown cardboard boxes.
Then you can take what you learned. Actually, this profile picture is better than this one. What's a really cool test? I bet in your space, you're familiar with 4-hour work week.
Oh yeah.
So he says it in the book. The reason, do you know why it's called 4-hour work week?
This is really cool. I do not. I have not read it actually.
Oh, okay. It's a great book. It's what kind of started me on like, hey, I don't know if I want to work for someone my whole life. So this is so cool. So and this is back in the day, right? I don't know what this was, early 2000s, but he tested 6-hour work week, 10-hour work week, 4-hour work week, 2-hour work week. He tested all these numbers, and 4-hour work week had the best click through. The most people reacted to 4-hour work week. So the book is called 4-hour work week. It's not because, isn't that hilarious? It's not because the 4 happens to be his target number. I mean, he acts like it throughout the book, but then he tells you, actually, the only reason this is called 4-hour work week is because I tested it, and the number 4, for whatever reason, reacted the best audience, and it made him a bestseller, right? Just because he had already tested it.
Yeah.
So, you got to test your assumptions. You think like another one is like even products like this that are clearly, typically this would be for the male gender. But if you don't test the women, you don't realize that women are buying these for males, right? Or, I mean, maybe there's a really cool fly fishing for women group that gets a hold of this, and all of a sudden you've got 10 sales you weren't expecting. And so you have these assumptions, but you need to challenge them. You need to have data to prove, yes, we did this and these were the results. And so we had a hypothesis, and the results, again, there's always other things going on, but you can say it seems to indicate that our assumption is correct or our assumption is false.
Powerful. Awesome.
All right, what's next? This is fun. Okay, cool. So let's just blast through these, Jared, if you're cool with that, because
sounds good. Yep.
These are out of a magazine I had, but I just loved, again, it has data with them, so it's worth sharing. And these won't always be true for your brand. For instance, this is testing the exact same 2 pages, except one has a red button and one has a green button. So which one's going to win? Now, what's important here is, let's say your brand is green based, right? Like mine, Compete Agency. We've got green all over the place. So what a green button work? It's already at a disadvantage, right? Because it has less contrast with the rest of my brand. So you got to kind of take these with a grain of salt, but they are fun to look at, and then you can test them later on your website. So green button.
Because right now I'm thinking, I look at them, I say, well, red means stop, green means go. Green wins.
Yeah.
What's the answer, Scott?
So in this test, the conversion rate was increased by red. So traditionally, I've seen red wins most of the time, just in general. Red, Target's brand is red by design. Like red actually creates action. Red is an aggressive color. And you get into color theory and stuff that I don't know too much. Green makes you feel safe, but it also, in this case, makes you click less. All right. I know, right? It's like, but again, you wouldn't know. So here's a cool one, a 30-day trial versus a 7-day trial. So again, of course, hopefully a 30-day, it's like, would you like $100 back or would you like $50 back? It's like $100 back.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good. You cheating? You wanted to see the number. You wanted to cheat.
Yeah. I was like, what? I can't stand it anymore. Tell me what the answer is.
But so we know 30 should win, but by how much? Right? That's what this is really testing. And then you can control that to your cost of giving up another 28 days. So let's jump in. How much better is it? So it is 100%, 110% better. So literally converting twice as much, 33% compared to 7 points. Oh, so those aren't percent, but 0.33 compared to 0.17. So significantly better for a 30-day. And if you have a soft good, like a trial period or like a class that actually doesn't cost you, then I'd bump it to 30. What does 60 do? I mean, get it out there.
And there's a higher chance that your people will probably forget that they signed up for it, and then they'll be locked in forever, right?
And then they stay. But again, that's an assumption. You got to test that, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Next one. So this is a cool one. And again, we should know which one wins, right? And so what this is testing is if you zoom in, you don't have to zoom in, but it actually is, they both have the exact same options. You can either pay all up front or you can pay in 2 different payments separately over time. And so all this is testing is one of them is auto-selected 1-time payment and the other one is auto-selected 2-time payment. So it's not testing a different price. They're both around $500. It's just pay $250 twice. Or
how do you want to pay it?
Yep. How do you want to pay it? And so, and you'll see this over and over again. Whoops, the fade. It won by 200%. So it's definitely probably in your interest to test your payment options. Pay 3 times over 30 days. Do you have an annual membership? And what's cool too is like, if it's $100 membership for a year, how many people convert? Versus what if they paid $10 a month for that same membership? All of a sudden the annual, your revenue is $120, but I guarantee, I can't guarantee it, but most likely your conversion rate will skyrocket.
We can make an assumption.
Now you're only asking for $10, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And you might end up making more money.
I want to make a plug here. Have you, as a marketer, have you read the book Contagious?
No.
So it's a pretty, I don't know how new it is. I feel like it's pretty new, but it is a marketing book. And they actually break down a bunch of case studies on this exact, like how much should you advertise? And then they find that based on what your overall cost is of the product, that determines how much you break it down into 3 payments or 2 payments or a 50% discount or 20%, whatever it looks like.
So there's like categories, like if your product is $100 or more or 50.
Exactly.
Oh, cool.
They use the example of like 2 grills. If you look at a grill, grill A and it has $75 off and grill B and it's, $150 off, which one would you look at? And anyway, it's a good book. So definitely check it out. But it speaks to this specifically.
Okay. Again, this is testing a one-time payment or a three-time payment. Sales increased by 75%. Could you use 75% more sales? Yes, you could. So remember, these are receiving the same amount of traffic. If you spend $100 of traffic over here and $100 of traffic over here, you'll have 75% more sales on that same $100 if you just changed your pricing model.
Huge.
The free word. This one's hilarious. So I love it because it's like, sign up now. It is free. Like you're not asking anything. It's like, give me your email address. And then this other one saying, give me your email address for free. Like that, like that costs something.
Yeah.
And you've got this 28% increase because you put the word "it's free" next to it.
It's free.
Yeah. And if free, actually, there's I forget what book it is, but it goes into I think there's like serotonin release when we see the word free. We get literally biologically excited. So free, whenever you can work it in, is a powerful word.
It also is that principle of reciprocity, right? I'm going to give you something for free, and then you're going to feel internally obligated to now give me something, i.e. your money, time, etc. So attention.
Totally. Yeah. Is it Gary V, the jab, 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 right hook,
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. A button at the top of the page, and then the other example had the button at the bottom of the page. And so where's your call to action? How much are you making someone read first or scroll to then take action? There's some really cool stuff you can do there, but just moving the location of the button 25% more because it was higher on the page.
Yeah, most landing pages I see now have them both, right? Top and bottom.
Yeah, you should probably offer. I mean, really, no matter where you scroll, if you scroll down, there should always be a clear one area of what you want the person to do. So sometimes if you're not telling them where to click, then they won't click. They like to be told what to do. So this is very clear. Obviously, I want you to click on this big yellow button, and 25% more often they did.
They did. Wow. And it has free. So double whammy.
Double whammy. It's free to start your trial. Yeah. So we did it, Jer.
Hey, just such good insight that a lot of this is, you don't need to necessarily pay somebody to go make these changes. You can make these changes on your own. Mm-hmm. It's not overly complicated. It's just a matter of being maybe a little more critical of what you're putting out there and being more thoughtful about how people are engaging with it. And to your point, just testing.
I mean, the easiest thing right now is if you were running a Facebook ad, go to that ad. There's a duplicate button on that ad. Click duplicate and change one thing. Add the free word, and then throw them up against each other. See how they do. I mean, this stuff isn't difficult. These software programs are built to have you do this.
How much time should you put an ad out there and test it and allow it to be, going? Because I know, and myself included, there's been times where I put it out and it's like, wow, nothing's happening. It's been 3 minutes. Wow, nothing's still happening. It's been an hour. Wow, it's now nighttime and nobody's clicked. I'm done. I'm not, throwing any more money out the window. So what's the good rule of thumb?
That's true. It's less about the amount of time and it's more about the amount of clicks. So if you run, for whatever it costs and for however fast you can do it, if you can get 1,000 clicks through something compared to something else, you most likely will have clear results. I typically say every test is probably around $100 you want to spend before you make a call, at a minimum. Just because, and a lot of times you'll see those indications early, but to your point, it's like, what if your users aren't on the weekends and you ran your test on the weekend, or they're making their purchasing decisions on the weekend and you ran it during the week. And so you need to, run every day of the week. How does it do? All times. Are you running at night?
Yeah.
Your spend running out before the ad can run through the night. It's less about you need to run it for at least 2 days. It's more like you need to run it so that you get significant amount of clicks. And typically around $100, you can start to get there.
So pay the money, get the clicks, learn, make adjustments, tweak.
Just accept
move on
that
and forward.
it's education at this point, especially when you're starting from zero. Like, you are paying to learn. You're not paying for sales yet. Those happen later. Hopefully they show up. But then when they show up, you're like, how'd that happen? And then and you're like, then you've got to look through the data and be like, okay, this one came from here and this is why. Okay, is that why? Like, test it. Then you do a test to show, oh, it was because of that image. So
well, one thing I learned from this is kind of play king of the mountain with your ads. Put those ads out there, see which one leads, and then make it compete with other ads. Use what you learned from that one and go to the next one. And that's something, I know I could do a better job with. Lots of businesses could probably do a better job with.
Yeah. Even if I'm running another A/B test, I'll always run the king ad against it, just so I have another anchor of like this is the normal and this is how these two did. So this one won, but did it beat my king ad as well?
I love it. Well, Scott, we are at the end of time, a little bit over. Appreciate you being flexible. Any last thoughts or ways that people can get in touch with you?
Oh yeah. So, Compete Agency. It's just compete.agency. No .com, as we've learned. It's
rookie
novelty. Yeah. www.compete.agency. That's it. And then my email is Scott Sorensen. So it's just ss@compete.agency. So please reach out. Love to just even jam on your business and give some free advice for whatever that's worth. I said free. And dude, I'd love to run a competition if it makes sense.
Hey, you are awesome. Really appreciate the time. You've got such a great track record of entrepreneurship, and I know you are a lover of execution. So if you are somebody looking to get things done, like, rub elbows with this guy, because he will elevate your game to the next level. Thanks so much. We'll have you on again, I'm sure, and definitely appreciate it, Scott. All right, my friend.
Take care, Jim.
Have a good one. See ya.
Bye.